I shouldn't be telling you this. Honestly, if I had any self-control left, I'd shut my mouth and let the whole thing rot in the dark corners of my memory. But the problem is, it's not staying there. It keeps pushing its way back into my thoughts, into my dreams, into the very second I close my eyes and try to forget. And if this video disappears, if my account vanishes, then you'll know why. You'll know that they got to me too. I didn't stumble on it the way people usually find weird content. It wasn't some clickbaity thumbnail in my recommended, or some edgy, lost media channel trying to farm views. No, I found it by accident. The way you find a strange door in your own house you swear wasn't there yesterday. At first, I thought it was just another late-night hallucination, something I saw because I'd been up for hours scrolling, binging, wasting time. But this wasn't just insomnia. This was real. The channel had no name, no profile picture, no banner, just a blank gray circle like an unfinished account. 0 subscribers, 0 videos. At least, that's what it looked like, until I refreshed the page. That's when I saw it, a single upload. No title, just a black thumbnail. The time caught my eye first. It said it had gone live exactly at 3:33 a.m. I checked the clock in the corner of my laptop. 3:34. Somehow, I was 1 minute late to a video that shouldn't have been recommended to me in the first place. Curiosity is a dangerous thing when you're alone in the dark. My room was lit only by the blue glow of the screen, everything else swallowed in shadow. I told myself it was just some gimmicky art project, maybe an ARG, maybe some troll uploading at the devil's hour to scare people like me. That was the rational explanation, and I clung to it, because the alternative was something I didn't want to consider. You know how YouTube has rules, algorithms, filters, all that? How it takes a miracle to get your video noticed unless you play by its rules. Well, this channel wasn't playing by any rules I knew. It didn't show up in my search history. It didn't show up in my subscriptions. It was just there, like the site itself wanted me to see it. And if you're thinking, well, maybe it's some underground channel, some hacker messing with the system, I thought the same thing. But hackers don't do what this thing did. Hackers don't upload content that feels like it's waiting for you, specifically you, to press play. I sat there, my finger hovering over the trackpad, telling myself I'd click it just to prove it was nothing. Just static. Just another spooky internet trick. That's what I wanted. That's what I needed. But what I got was something else entirely. I didn't believe what I was seeing until I clicked play. It started like any other night, the kind of night I know way too well. You ever get stuck in that loop where you're too tired to be productive but too wired to sleep? That was me, slouched in bed, laptop balancing on my knees. The room lit only by the weak glow of my desk lamp and the faint blue light from the screen. I'd told myself I'd only watch 1 or 2 videos before bed. You know how that goes. 1 turns into 3, 3 turns into 12, and suddenly you're knee-deep in some guy ranking every breakfast cereal mascot from God tier to needs therapy. It's pathetic, but there's a strange comfort in it. Like, the world outside could be burning, but inside, I'm laughing at a poorly edited meme review from 2016. I scrolled through my recommendations, a weird buffet of internet leftovers. There was a trending video about some pop star's latest scandal, a conspiracy theory about subliminal messages in Disney movies, and one of those 10-hour loops of a cat meowing. I almost clicked that one out of pure spite for myself. Anything was better than lying in silence, staring at the ceiling. I don't know why insomnia feels lonelier online. It's not just the empty streets outside your window. It's that artificial brightness of YouTube at 3 in the morning, like the platform knows you're desperate and will feed you anything to keep you hooked. I was already 3 cans of soda deep, my brain buzzing with caffeine and self-loathing, when something caught my eye. Buried between a cooking tutorial and a clip of some streamers screaming at Minecraft mobs, there it was, a blank, gray profile. No name, no subs, no views. At first I thought it was a glitch. But no, it had one upload. Just one. The thumbnail was pure black, like someone had taken a screenshot of nothing. The kind of nothing that feels heavier than it should. Like if you stared long enough, you'd see shapes moving in the dark. And the timestamp, 3:33 a.m. I glanced at the clock. 3:34. A coincidence, I told myself. Just some edgy kid uploading creepypasta tier content at the so-called devil's hour. It happens all the time. YouTube is full of horror projects, found footage ripoffs, fake haunted channels trying to stir up buzz. Hell, I've fallen for a few myself. And for a second, I laughed, because that's what I thought it was. At first, I thought it was just another ARG, I tell myself now. And God, I wish it was. I sat there, refreshing the page, waiting for the view counter to tick up, waiting for a sign that someone else, anyone else, was seeing this too. But it didn't move. 0 views. 0 likes. 0 comments. Like the channel was made just for me. It's hard to describe the feeling of seeing something that shouldn't exist, but does anyway. You know that drop in your stomach when you almost trip going up the stairs? That brief spike of adrenaline that tells you something's wrong? It was like that, stretched out into minutes. And still, I couldn't stop staring at it. The rational part of my brain scrambled for excuses. Maybe it was a test upload. Maybe it was glitched metadata. Maybe some bot spat it out by accident. That's what made sense, right? But the longer I sat there, the less it felt like sense mattered. I wish I could tell you I closed the tab, powered down my laptop, and laughed it off in the morning. That's what a sane person would have done. That's what I should have done. Instead, I moved my cursor over the thumbnail. My hand hovered there like it wasn't even mine, like I was being pulled in. And before I knew it, I was leaning closer to the screen, the rest of the world shrinking away, my heart pounding louder than the silence of my room. I didn't believe what I was seeing, but I clicked anyway. The video didn't start with a logo, or music, or anything to ease me in. It just began. At first, it was nothing more than a grainy, static-filled shot of what looked like an empty room. The camera wobbled slightly, as if whoever held it was breathing too hard. I leaned closer, squinting at the screen. The room was bare, concrete walls, no windows, a single metal chair placed in the center like it was waiting for someone. For a few seconds, I thought the video had frozen. Nothing moved. No cuts, no pans, no edits. Just that chair. Then I heard it. Faint at first, buried under the static, was the sound of someone whispering. I couldn't make out the words, just the rhythm of a voice slipping in and out like bad reception. My headphones were on, but it felt like the whisper was coming from behind me. I paused the video immediately, yanked off my headphones, and sat there listening to the silence of my room. Nothing, just the faint hum of my laptop fan. I laughed nervously, the kind of laugh you give yourself when you're alone and starting to feel stupid. I pressed play again. The whisper grew louder. It wasn't a single voice. It was several, overlapping, talking over one another in some language I didn't recognize. Every so often, one word cut through clear, like it was meant for me. Look, stay behind. I told myself it was just sound design, just some creep trying to make their video scarier with cheap audio tricks. And I almost closed it right there, thinking it was nothing more than an amateur horror project. But then the camera shifted. The lens jerked suddenly toward the corner of the room, and for a split second I saw something move. Just a blur, like someone ducking out of frame. My heart jumped, but I couldn't look away. The shot lingered on the empty corner, as though daring me to blink. I didn't, and that's when the voices stopped. Completely. For the first time since the video started, it was dead silent. And then came the sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, echoing against the concrete floor. But the chair was still empty. The frame was still. Nothing, no one, appeared on camera. The steps got louder, closer, until they sounded like they were right in front of the microphone. Then, silence again. I didn't even realize I'd been holding my breath until I let it out. The camera tilted back toward the chair, and that's when I noticed it wasn't empty anymore. Someone was sitting there. It happened in the blink of an eye. 1 second the chair was bare, the next, a figure sat hunched forward, its face buried in its hands. I froze. My cursor hovered over the pause button, but I couldn't bring myself to press it. The figure didn't move, didn't breathe, just sat there like it had been there all along. The static began to swell, louder, harsher, filling my ears until I thought my eardrums would burst. And then, cutting through the noise, the figure lifted its head. Its face was blurred, smeared like bad pixels, but the eyes were sharp. Too sharp. 2 black pits staring straight into the camera. Straight at me. I slammed the spacebar, pausing the video. My laptop screen froze on that image, those eyes burning holes in me. My chest felt tight, like I'd been holding back a scream. I sat there for a long time, staring at the still frame, convincing myself it was just editing, just a filter, just something. Anything but real. Finally, I closed the tab, shut my laptop, and told myself I was done. But the thing is, I wasn't. Because when I woke up later that morning, groggy and unrest, I found my laptop still open on my desk. The screen was black, but the cursor hovered over YouTube. And when I tapped the spacebar, the page refreshed automatically. The channel was gone. No gray profile. No black thumbnail. No upload. Nothing. Like it had never existed. That should have been the end. I should have been relieved. But instead, a sick unease twisted in my gut. Because deep down, I knew what I'd seen. And worse, I wanted to see it again. At first, I thought it was just another ARG. I wish it was. But it wasn't the last time I saw that channel. It was only the first. And the next night, right on schedule, it came back. The second night, I told myself I wasn't going to look. I shut my laptop early, put my phone on the other side of the room, even tried one of those sleep meditations people swear by. But you know how it is. When you tell yourself don't think about it, that's exactly what your brain clings to. By the time the clock on my nightstand flipped from 3:32 to 3:33, I was already sitting up, staring at the laptop like it had a pulse of its own. I didn't want to open it. God, I didn't. But some pull, some itch under my skin, made me reach out anyway. Sure enough, the channel was back. Same blank profile, same gray circle, same total absence of subscribers. One new upload. Again, posted at exactly 3:33 a.m. I clicked it without hesitation this time. The video began differently. It wasn't the empty concrete room anymore. This time, it was outside. The camera panned slowly across a dimly lit suburban street. Quiet, lifeless, the kind of neighborhood where the only movement at that hour should have been the occasional stray cat. I leaned forward. Something about it seemed familiar. The camera tilted slightly, and my stomach dropped. I recognized the street. It was my street. I paused the video immediately, my heart thundering. There was no way it was real. Plenty of streets look alike, right? Cookie-cutter houses, generic lampposts, suburbs are designed to be indistinguishable. That had to be it. But the longer I stared at the frozen frame, the harder it was to lie to myself. The cracks in the sidewalk matched the ones I stepped over every day. The crooked stop sign at the end of the block. Even the faint spray-painted graffiti on the curb. Yeah, I'd walked past that 100 times. But the longer I stared at the frozen frame, the harder it was to lie to myself. The cracks in the sidewalk matched the ones I stepped over every day. The crooked stop sign at the end of the block. Even the faint spray-painted graffiti on the curb. Yeah, I'd walked past that 100 times. I swallowed hard and hit play again. The camera moved forward, slowly, like someone was walking down the street. My street. Past the houses. Past the mailboxes. Until it stopped in front of one particular driveway. My driveway. The frame lingered there, like the channel was waiting for me to admit it. Then the video cut to static, harsh and sudden, and ended. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. By morning, the upload was gone again. Channel wiped clean. But when the next night rolled around, so did another video. This time, it didn't start outside. It started in my room. The camera sat at the foot of my bed, angled up just enough to capture my sleeping body. I froze. My breath caught in my throat as I watched myself roll over in the grainy footage, my blanket shifting slightly with the movement. There was no mistaking it. It was me. I yanked off my headphones, scanning my room with wide eyes. Empty. Just the quiet hum of my fan. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something had been here. That maybe it still was. Every instinct told me to shut it down, to throw my laptop out the window and never touch YouTube again. But I didn't. I watched until the very end. Because part of me wanted to know how far it would go. Each night, the videos escalated. The fourth upload showed me walking to the kitchen for a midnight snack. The fifth, brushing my teeth. The sixth, sitting exactly where I am right now, on my bed, hunched over my laptop, headphones in, eyes glued to the screen. Every time, the angle was different. Sometimes it was like a hidden camera, sometimes like someone was physically holding the phone, following me. And every time, the timestamp read 3:33 a.m. I started dreading the nights. I'd tell myself I wouldn't look, that I'd sleep through it, that I'd block the site, uninstall the app, anything. But no matter what I did, by the time that cursed minute rolled around, I'd find myself back on that channel, watching myself from the outside. You can call it obsession, addiction, paranoia, whatever. But if you'd been in my shoes, you would have clicked too. Because there's one thing I haven't told you yet. The videos weren't just recordings of me. They were ahead of me. The seventh upload didn't show me sleeping or scrolling or brushing my teeth. It showed me doing something I hadn't done yet. Sitting at my desk, phone pressed to my ear, whispering in a panicked voice, "I don't know what to do. I think someone's watching me." When I first saw it, I laughed. A nervous, disbelieving laugh. I thought, oh, great, now the channel's predicting my breakdown too. But a few days later, when the paranoia finally cracked me open, I found myself saying those exact words into the phone. Same desk, same tone, same panic in my voice. That's when I realized this wasn't just surveillance. It wasn't just some hacker streaming me to scare me. It was something else. Something that wasn't supposed to exist. And if you're smart, you'll stop here. Because the deeper I went, the worse it got. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. When you can't trust your own eyes, you start looking for answers anywhere else. That's what I did. I thought maybe, if I dug deep enough online, I'd find someone else who'd seen what I'd seen. Someone who could tell me this wasn't just me losing my mind. So I started searching. At first, I tried the obvious, typing 333 YouTube channel into Google. Nothing. Just some blog spam articles about the Devil's Hour and clickbait lists about cursed videos that turned out to be cheap jump scares. I tried Reddit next. You'd be surprised how many people out there believe in, or at least pretend to believe in, weird internet folklore. Subreddits like r/deep into YouTube, r/creepy encounters, r/ARG. I scrolled until my eyes burned, until my fingers were stiff from refreshing. And then I found something. It was a thread from 5 years ago, buried deep in r/unresolved mysteries. The title was simple. Has anyone else seen the blank channel at 333? The post itself wasn't long. Just a guy saying he'd stumbled across a nameless profile that uploaded at 3:33 every night, only to vanish in the morning. No details about the videos, no screenshots. Just a warning at the end. Don't watch past the 7th upload. Please. Of course, the comments were a mess. Half the replies were trolls, joking about creepypasta. The other half were skeptics tearing him apart, saying it was probably an ARG or some kind of viral marketing campaign. But a few, just a few, were different. One comment read, I saw it too. Same time. Same nothing profile. Video was my street. Haven't seen it since. Thank God. Another, 7th upload? That's when it got personal for me. That's when it said my name. And then one more, the one that made my stomach knot. If you're reading this, stop while you can. The channel doesn't like attention. The account that posted that comment? Deleted. I wish I could say I stopped there, that those words were enough to scare me straight. But no. If anything, they made me hungrier. I wanted proof. Evidence. Something I could show to someone else so they'd believe me. I started looking through internet archives, using Wayback Machine, cache data, even a few shady mirror sites I probably shouldn't have clicked on. Most of it was dead ends. But then I stumbled on a forum. One of those half-forgotten boards hosted on servers no one's updated in a decade. The layout was primitive, neon text on a black background. Posts dating back to the early 2000s. And scattered between discussions about ghost stories and UFOs were threads with a familiar phrase, 333 channel. Some of them were in broken English, others in languages I didn't even recognize. But the details lined up, people describing blank profiles, nameless uploads, videos that felt like they were watching you. One post, written in shaky typing like the person's hands were trembling, still burns in my memory. 7th video shows the future. Don't let it finish. I sat back from my screen, rubbing my face, trying to convince myself it was just coincidence. Just internet myth-making, the same way Slender Man or the Russian sleep experiment had spread. People tell stories, Other people repeat them, and suddenly it's folklore. That's what I wanted to believe. But there was one more thing I couldn't ignore. In the archived forum, one user had uploaded a screenshot. It showed the familiar gray circle profile picture, the blank channel banner. And beneath it, a single video title, completely untitled, timestamped at 3:33 a.m. The upload date? 2007. 2007. Long before YouTube had live streams. Long before people were even talking about the algorithm. That's when I realized this wasn't new. This wasn't some new creepy project or edgy marketing stunt. It had been around for years, maybe longer. And the more I read, the clearer the pattern became. Everyone who claimed to see the channel described it the same way. It showed them things they shouldn't see. Their homes, their lives, their future. And every time, after the 7th video, the posts would stop. Accounts deleted. Users gone quiet. I sat there staring at the glow of my laptop screen, my room silent except for the pounding of my heart. I should have stopped. I should have slammed the lid shut, walked away, never touched the site again. But curiosity has a way of sinking its claws into you. Besides, I told myself, maybe those old posts weren't real. Maybe it was all just part of some elaborate story passed around like a campfire tale. That's what I told myself. Anyway, as the clock crept closer to 3:33 again, I promised I wouldn't click this time. I swore it. But when the channel reappeared, when the next upload appeared with that same blank thumbnail, my hand moved on its own. I didn't even realize I was smiling until I heard my own voice whisper, "Just one more." And that's when I broke the rule. That's when I went past the 7th upload. They always said not to go past the 7th video. I'd read it on old forums, buried in half-deleted Reddit threads, whispered like a curse in broken English. Stop at 7. It was always vague, always a warning without context, like people were too afraid to put it into words. And that vagueness only made me want to see it more. By the time that 7th upload appeared, I was a wreck. Nights blurred together. I couldn't focus at work, couldn't hold a conversation without glancing over my shoulder. My friends noticed the dark circles under my eyes, the twitch in my voice. I told them I wasn't sleeping. That wasn't a lie. But none of them knew the real reason. None of them knew that every night, at 3:33, I was watching myself unravel, frame by frame. That night, my hands shook as I refreshed the channel. There it was, blank profile, single video, timestamped 3:33. I hovered over it for a long time, whispering under my breath, don't, don't. And then I clicked. The video opened on black. No static, no background noise, just silence so thick it made me aware of my own breathing. I thought for a second the upload was broken. But then, slowly, words began to form on the screen. White text, typed out like someone was pressing the keys in real time. Hello, Midnight Tales. I froze. My cursor hovered uselessly, my pulse hammering. I hadn't used my real name on YouTube. Not on my account. Not in my email. Not anywhere it could be scraped by a bot. And yet, there it was. Before I could even process it, more text appeared. Are you ready to see yourself? The black screen dissolved into an image. It was me, sitting at my desk. Same clothes I was wearing in that exact moment. Same posture. My laptop open, face washed pale by its glow. But the angle was different. Higher. Like a camera was mounted above me, watching. I ripped my headphones off and looked up, half expecting to see a lens hidden in the corner of my ceiling. Nothing. Just cracked paint and a buzzing light fixture. When I looked back at the screen, my heart stuttered. The me in the video looked up. Slowly, deliberately, like he knew I was watching. And then he smiled. I flinched so hard my chair nearly tipped backward. Because I wasn't smiling. My mouth was pressed tight, my face pale with fear, but the version of me on screen grinned ear to ear, teeth glinting in the glow of the monitor. The whispers came back, louder this time, layered like a choir speaking from inside the static. I pressed pause. Nothing. The whispers kept going, spilling from the speakers, filling the room. I muted the video. Still there. I unplugged my headphones. And still, somehow, I could hear them, inside my skull, slithering just behind my thoughts. I slammed the laptop shut. The whispers stopped. For a second, I thought it was over. I sat there in the dark, heart racing, sweat dampening the back of my shirt. Then, against every instinct, I cracked the laptop open again. The video was still playing, and the me on screen was leaning closer, his grin wider, his eyes black voids swallowing the light. I wanted to stop watching. I swear I did. But my body didn't listen. My eyes burned, refusing to blink, my hands frozen on the keys. The whispers merged into words. One voice, louder than the rest, clear and sharp. Weary coming through. The screen flickered. Frames stuttered. For a moment, I saw flashes, images layered over my doppelganger. My bedroom, but wrong. Walls dripping like they were melting. Shadows moving in unnatural patterns. My bed, twisted into something skeletal, bones jutting where it should be. And then another flash. Not my room. A hallway. Narrow, endless, lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. Something moved at the far end. A figure crawling on all fours, limbs bending wrong, its face hidden in shadow. Back to me at the desk. Back to the grin. Back to those eyes. The video ended abruptly. A single frame of white text lingered for half a second. We'll see you soon. Then black. I shoved my chair back and staggered to my feet, gasping like I'd surfaced from underwater. My body felt foreign, jittery, like every nerve was sparking at once. That should have been enough. That should have been the moment I finally smashed the laptop, walked away, begged for help. But it wasn't, because the next night, when 3:33 rolled around, I didn't even hesitate. I was waiting. The rules were broken. And now, I knew. Whatever was on the other side of that channel wasn't just showing me the future. It was trying to rewrite it. After the 7th video, nothing was the same. It was like a switch flipped, and suddenly the line between screen and reality didn't matter anymore. At first, it was little things. I'd see flickers at the edge of my vision, like frames bleeding through, tiny flashes of static across the walls of my apartment. My phone would buzz with a notification at exactly 3:33 a.m., and when I checked it, there'd be nothing there. My reflection in the bathroom mirror lagged, just a half second behind my movements. I kept telling myself I was sleep-deprived, paranoid, hallucinating. But then the videos stopped being confined to the channel. One night, I opened my laptop to work on something normal for once. Emails, spreadsheets, the kind of boring junk I used to hate. I clicked open a folder on my desktop, but instead of files, I found a single video. Untitled. I don't download videos. I don't pirate movies or hoard memes. That file hadn't been there before. With shaking hands, I clicked it, and there I was again, asleep in my bed, filmed from the same impossible angle as before. Only this time, the camera drifted closer. I watched myself shift in the sheets, watched the lens inch forward until it hovered right above my face. And then, for the briefest second, my sleeping self opened his eyes. Wide, black. I slammed the laptop shut, shoved it under my bed, and paced the room until sunrise. But hiding it didn't help, because the next night, when I tried to use my phone instead, the same video appeared there too. No app, no notification, just playing on the screen the moment I unlocked it. That's when I realized it wasn't the channel anymore. It was me. The footage followed wherever I went. My devices, my reflections. Once, when I walked past a storefront window, I saw myself on the glass, not matching my movements, but sitting at my desk again, staring at the screen. I tried to tell my friends. That was a mistake. One of them, Mark, came over after I practically begged him. I thought maybe if someone else saw it, it would prove I wasn't insane. I pulled up my laptop, showed him the folder, the untitled file. He clicked it open, smirking. This better not be one of your creepypasta pranks, man. We both leaned in as the footage played. At first, it was the same. My room, my bed, me asleep. Mark started to laugh. Wow, spooky. How'd you fake this? Then the figure appeared. Not me. Not exactly. Something crawled into frame from the far corner of the room. Its limbs bent wrong, elbows jutting backward, spine arching too high. It moved toward the sleeping version of me on all fours, its face dragging against the floor, leaving a smear of static like wet paint. Mark stopped laughing. Dude, what the hell is that? I didn't answer. I couldn't. My mouth was dry, my tongue heavy. The creature climbed onto the bed, looming over my sleeping body. Then, slowly, it turned its head toward the camera, toward us. The screen went black. Mark slammed the laptop shut, stumbling back like he'd been burned. Nope, I'm out. He grabbed his jacket, muttered something about me being seriously messed up, and left without looking back. I haven't heard from him since. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His socials are gone. And when I checked my laptop the next night, there was a new video waiting. This one showed Mark, sitting in a dark room, his head slumped forward, his face hidden. I didn't watch past the first few seconds. Now, I don't know what's real anymore. Every night bleeds into the next. I wake up at 3:33 without fail. No alarm needed, no exceptions. My lights flicker. Shadows bend. Sometimes I hear footsteps pacing just outside my door, though when I check, the hall is empty. Other times, it's worse. Sometimes I hear my own voice whispering things I don't remember saying. The worst part? I've stopped fighting it. Some nights, when the static hums in the corners of my room and the videos bloom across my screens like tumors, I just sit there and let it happen. My fear has dulled into something else. Acceptance, maybe. Or surrender. Because deep down, I think it's already too late. The videos aren't just following me anymore. They re-becoming me. I always thought the channel would end with me. That the curse, or virus, or haunting, or whatever the hell this was personal. A punishment tailored to my insomnia, my obsession, my stupidity. But I was wrong. Because on the night of the 8th upload, the rules changed again. It was 3:32 a.m. I was sitting in the dark, every muscle in my body buzzing with dread. I didn't even touch my laptop this time. I swore to myself I wouldn't look, that if I just kept my eyes away, the cycle would break. But my screen lit up on its own. The familiar blank profile, the single video, the cursed timestamp, 3:33. And this time, I didn't even need to click. The video began to play automatically. At first, I thought it was another mirror of my life. Me at the desk, me in bed, me unraveling on repeat. But no, this was different. It started with a wide shot of a living room. Not mine. The furniture was strange, the walls a different color. Then a woman walked into frame, yawning, phone in hand. She looked real, normal. She sat down on the couch, scrolled a bit, then froze. Eyes locking on the screen like she'd just seen herself being recorded. Then, like a jump cut, the footage shifted to a different room. A teenager in his bedroom, headphones on, gaming chair lit by LED strips. Same thing. He noticed something off, turned toward the camera, eyes wide with confusion. Another cut, another stranger, and another. Dozens of people, hundreds, each one caught in some unguarded, late-night moment. Each one realizing, too late, that they were being watched. And then, at the bottom corner of the video, I saw it, the YouTube interface. The live chat scrolling faster than my eyes could follow. Thousands of usernames pouring in, typing variations of the same message. I see myself. That's my room. How are they filming me? Stop. 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 My stomach dropped. This wasn't just me anymore. The channel wasn't targeting a single viewer. It was broadcasting all of us. The whispers returned, but this time they weren't confined to my speakers. They rose up from the floorboards, seeped in through the cracks in the walls, vibrated inside my teeth. 1,000 overlapping voices, weaving into one terrible chorus. We are here. The footage on screen grew darker, warped, like the pixels themselves were rotting. The strangers' faces began to blur, mouths stretching too wide, eyes sinking into pits of shadow. Some screamed, some smiled, some moved toward the lens, clawing at the invisible barrier between them and us. The live chat dissolved into panic. People typing in all caps, begging for help, confessing things they shouldn't know, coordinates, phone numbers, desperate prayers. And in the middle of it all, a pinned message appeared, highlighted in blood-red text. Final upload in progress. I tried to exit out. My mouse didn't work. My keyboard didn't respond. I slammed the power button on my laptop, but the screen stayed alive, glowing brighter, the voices growing louder. Then the camera cut again, and I saw myself. Not the desk version, not the sleeping version. This was me, standing in my kitchen, staring straight at the lens with dead eyes. I shouldn't be telling you this. I shouldn't be spreading it further. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the upload isn't complete until someone else knows, until you've seen enough to carry it with you. So if this video disappears, if the channel goes dark, you'll know why. It means I've already become part of it. And tomorrow, at 3:33, maybe you will too. I used to think stories had endings. That no matter how terrifying, how twisted, They tied themselves off eventually, with a scream, with a death, with some kind of closure. But this one doesn't. This one just keeps looping like the channel itself. Every night, without fail, I hear the chime. That impossible little notification cutting through the silence at exactly 3:33 a.m. I've stopped fighting it. My screens wake up on their own, glowing like open mouths in the dark, waiting to swallow me whole. The videos are shorter now. Fragments. Clips. Like the channel isn't even trying to hide anymore. Sometimes it's just a face, blurry, leaning too close to the lens. Sometimes it's a room I recognize. Yours, maybe. Sometimes it's mine. Always, there's that static hum underneath. A heartbeat that doesn't belong to me. I tell myself I could walk away, smash the devices, burn everything down. But the truth? I've already tried. I've broken screens, pulled plugs, even left my apartment for nights at a time. And yet, wherever I go, the upload follows. Hotel rooms, libraries, even an old burner phone I bought with cash. 3:33 a.m. Every time. It's like the channel isn't bound to a platform anymore. It's not YouTube. It's not the internet. It's inside the hour itself. That cursed minute is its home, and the moment the clock hits it, the channel opens, no matter where I am. And I think it's spreading. The last video I watched, if watched is even the right word, didn't just show me. It showed the comment section. Hundreds of names I didn't recognize, all typing the same thing at once. We're the channel. Some part of me wanted to laugh. It felt like a bad cult slogan, the kind of thing you'd find scribbled on a conspiracy forum. But the laughter stuck in my throat when I scrolled further, because mixed in with the usernames were ones I did recognize. Mark's, other friends who'd ghosted me months ago, even mine. I hadn't typed a word, but there it was glowing back at me in that endless thread, a message I couldn't remember sending. I am the final upload. It's funny. Not haha funny, but sick, cosmic irony funny. I started this whole thing by clicking play out of boredom, out of late night curiosity. I thought I was in control, a viewer, an audience member, but somewhere along the line, the channel stopped needing an audience. It needs participants. And now I wonder if that's what this has been about from the start. Not entertaining us, not scaring us, but recruiting us. Each click another offering. Each upload another piece of someone's soul fed into the machine. That's why I shouldn't be telling you this. That's why every word I say is a mistake. Because by listening, by knowing, you've already taken your first step closer to the channel. And when your clock hits 3:33 a.m. tonight, don't be surprised if your phone buzzes. Don't be surprised if your screen lights up with a video you've never seen before. Maybe it'll be a stranger. Or maybe it'll be you. I don't get to choose anymore. Neither will you. The channel doesn't stop. It doesn't sleep. It only waits. And if this video disappears, if the story cuts off right here, just remember, it's not because it ended. It's because it uploaded. And the next one might already be you. This time, I heard it clearly, next stage. The words landed heavy, final, like a promise, or a sentence. I tried to scream, but the shadows climbed higher, curling around my legs, my arms, my throat. The air thickened, charged with static. Every hair on my body stood on end. My vision blurred at the edges as the laptop's glow grew brighter and brighter, white hot. And then, blackout. No sound, no light, No breath, just silence. And in that silence, the feeling that something had crossed over. Something that hadn't been in this room before midnight, but was here now. I wish I could tell you it ended there, that the blackout was the worst of it. But the truth is, midnight was only the threshold. And what waited beyond was darker than anything I'd ever imagined.